As we inch closer and closer to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie sequel, I've come to somewhat of a realization of just how good this movie really could be. Now, I don't see this movie winning any, best pictures or anything like that, but I am going to go on a limb here and say that it's likely going to be the best video game movie of all time. Scratch that, I actually already believe it is the best video game movie ever. Firstly, yes, I am well aware the movie is not out yet, so I am judging a book basically by the cover. I completely admit that, and for once, I think this is actually a perfectly good instance to do that. Secondly, being the best video game movie of all time, quite honestly, isn't that much of an accomplishment, really. Its competition is not all that impressive. I've seen my fair share of gaming movies, and the only one I can say I felt fairly impressed by was Detective Pikachu, but I think a large fraction of my impression was just from the fact of how good the CG and characters were. During the time of its release, I wasn't this huge Pokemon fan like I was several years ago, so I wouldn't say it exactly pulled at my heartstrings. It was an okay movie that I don't feel the need to go out of my way to see it again, but I think the results probably would have been a lot different if I was actually a big Pokemon fan, as I feel like many people who are so-so on Sonic feel the exact same way about the previous Sonic movie, which I can totally understand why. I hate to be that guy, but if you aren't a fan of Sonic or maybe video games in general, you likely saw the Sonic movie because you had a kid who wanted to see it, or maybe someone close to you who happens to like Sonic dragged you to the theater. Point is, the obvious target market for this film is Sonic fans and kids alike. As you probably already know though, as a Sonic fan, I enjoyed this movie, but it really didn't stimulate me as a fan. That was really my only issue with the film. It felt a lot less like a Sonic movie and more like a movie that had Sonic in it, like Sonic was the main star. Hopefully that makes sense, but if it doesn't, allow me to elaborate on the difference between the two. Let's look at two examples, the Detective Pikachu movie and the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I'm going to be talking about the first Sonic movie. Now, I'm not going to compare how good the films are because judging by what I said earlier, you will probably know which one I'm going to pick, but I will say the Detective Pikachu movie did a good job at immersion. It wasn't just any type of immersion though, it was actively making a conscious effort at engrossing you in the world of Pokemon. This of course is a different look and feel from the gotta catch 'em all aspect we're all so collectively used to, but it still manages to get the job done, displaying Pokemon at almost every turn, showcasing a bit of the Pokemon battle scene, the backstory on Mewtwo, and even a little funky scene with Mr. Mime. It's obvious that the direction here was to reward longtime fans of the series with eye candy that they would appreciate. Again, this wasn't a movie I found to be super enjoyable, but for what it's worth, I was left in awe of the visuals and charm provided by Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu, which is super ironic because I would have never expected the guy who plays Deadpool to pull off Pikachu so well. I guess that's what happens when you make a subconscious effort to box a talented person in. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds anyway, I'm going to say the obvious here that it's going to be practiced to no end with movies like these. Ryan Reynolds was likely cast for the adults who go see this film with their kids. I'm not going back on my word saying that he didn't do a great job, because personally, I really liked him in this movie, but he was their other moneymaker aside from Pokemon being as big of a franchise as it is. Like I said, this is going to be a practice that is continued because it works. We are going to be seeing this happen in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which already has a ton of big actors, namely Chris Pratt and Seth Rogen. Again, this is another movie I don't think will be bad just because, much like its budget, the ceiling for success is pretty high, and I'm not talking about just the box office. But to help me not get too off track, I did already talk about this in another video, so if you like Mario and feel a little iffy on the movie, go watch that, but right after you finish this video, of course. Anyway, another movie that's pulling the big name actor card for their video game film is the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. Lastly, we already know that Sonic movie did this with Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman and Idris Elba as Knuckles. Now, from what I've already seen, I don't believe any of these are bad choices. I know one of the most frowned upon was Tom as Nathan, and yeah, trust me, I really get it. I love the Uncharted games, and honestly, I've only begun to really see Tom as Spider-Man, so it really just kind of looks like Peter Parker's hanging out with Sully and falling off of planes. And that's avoiding the obvious fact that Nathan Drake and Tom Holland look nothing alike. Maybe a young Nate, but even still, I don't remember young Nathan pulling stunts like this. Alright, enough of my senseless rambling, you get the point. These actors were all pulled into their current position because first and foremost, they can generate revenue. Don't let that statement confuse you though, I still think all these actors can pull off exactly what needs to be done, and I will go into greater detail later in the video, but let's just get back on task here with the Sonic movie, original and sequel. So firstly, Jim Carrey, as I said earlier, was the biggest name this Sonic movie had to offer, so he was their primal revenue generator. He played the role really well, just as everyone seemed to expect, but that doesn't get rid of that very fact. Carrey has made an impression on all of us after his performance as Eggman that many of us, myself included, likely could not envision anyone else playing that role in the live-action film. Speaking of which, allow me to shed some light on the first Sonic movie now, and the ways it used immersion. In comparison, Detective Pikachu immerses the audience in the world of Pokemon. The Sonic movie tried to immerse the audience in a different world, our own. Yes, it was quite unique to Sonic, but it wasn't exactly anything we hadn't seen before. I mean, you could quite literally go outside and experience that world for yourself. Ever hear the phrase, "go touch grass"? While I don't retract my statement, I will acknowledge that this movie was tackling a different theme than that of Detective Pikachu. Instead of the audience exploring a foreign new land, we were able to see Sonic explore ours, and briefly experience what the world could have perhaps been like if Sonic were to live here. Not exactly a new concept, but to be fair, the Pokemon one isn't either. And it's not like we were given zero insight into Sonic's world, as we have an around 2-minute scene taking place in Green Hill, between Baby Sonic, Longclaw, and the Echidna tribe. So we got a taste of both Sonic's world and ours with Sonic in it. We are given some really nice nods like Green Hill as a whole, the loops Baby Sonic runs up, and the Echidna's making an appearance, but all of that happens so fast and so early that the rest of the movie taking place in our world overwhelmingly outweighs it. At the meat of it all, the movie is truly just answering the question, what if Sonic was in our world? A question in which I go further into detail in another video that again, you should go watch. Nonetheless, that doesn't exactly make it a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It just makes it a movie with Sonic in it. Now, I won't say the film didn't immerse me, because it did, but it was about how it did. Pokemon immersed me using characters, environments, and somewhat consistent lore. The Sonic movie has an inconsistent lore from the games, already making that part a little harder for the fan appeal immersion. Actually, now is probably a good time to mention that right from the first trailer, this was a fact that was made abundantly clear. And I'm not talking about the first Sonic movie trailer, I'm talking about the first Sonic movie trailer. Now I think you know what I'm talking about. When it comes to this trailer, it was made evident that the direction this movie was going in was to explore a different side of Sonic, neglecting the series, lore, history, its basic fundamentals, and of course the way Sonic looked. The second trailer is seen in a much better light, but to be frank, it's really just because of the redesign. The story is inherently the same, bearing a few, if any, small discrepancies. I didn't work on the movie, so there's no possible way of finding out just how much changed outside of the design itself, but the statement was made time and time again since the movie's release: the redesign saved this film. The redesign made this movie work the way it did. Sonic made the movie all the more impressive. Sonic was really the driving point. Not the Sonic lore, not the Sonic series, just Sonic. Now, I don't know about you, but personally I find it a lot easier to immerse myself in a story or a world in comparison to just one character. And since that story was pretty much just a road trip film, which has been done over and over again, the only thing that I can really think brought this movie to life was the amazing Sonic design. And that's exactly where Detective Pikachu and Sonic differ. One focuses on immersing you in its world, and the other focuses on the characters to drive its story. But that's exactly why I believe the Sonic movie sequel will be so special. Unlike the first movie, which supplied almost the bare minimum of the original Sonic lore to the fact that you almost had to hunt for it, this movie is making it blatantly obvious that this is a Sonic movie and not a flick with Sonic in it. But if that's the case, why is this movie going to be better than Detective Pikachu, or Uncharted, or the Mario movie? Well, I can't really tell you why it'll be better than the Mario movie, since we don't even know what that will look like. And this is one of those instances I don't know if judging a book by its cover is the best thing to do. But in comparison to Detective Pikachu and the Uncharted film, I feel like this movie has a better balance and is providing what the fans actually want. Firstly, let's talk about the Sonic movie sequel's balance. Right off the bat, we're seeing some of the original Sonic movie elements at play here. Sonic still isn't coming into the personality we see him display in the games, but perhaps this is a role he will grow into as the film progresses. Nonetheless, we see movie-only characters like Tom, Maddie, Rachel, and Agent Stone make a reappearance to show that it is still deeply connected to the first film. But we also see that the film is going to be including some fan-favorite elements in a digestible way for those who have never played or experienced the Sonic franchise before. This movie will be taking steps when it comes to introducing new characters like Tails, Knuckles, and new things like the Emerald. In essence, it won't be shoving everything at you at one time, making it overwhelming. Detective Pikachu, on the other hand, gave you a whole world of Pokemon, and not everyone knows what a Psyduck is. Just because Charizard may be one of the most popular Pokemon in existence, this movie did not give the viewer any reason to care about this Pokemon or its lore. On the other hand, the Sonic movie is introducing its popular characters at a pace that will be proportionally spaced out that will make you as the viewer want to care about them. There's a reason the Sonic Movie 2 trailer was #1 on trending for like 4 days straight, and it's not because Sonic name dropped Oprah. As far as Uncharted and Sonic go, well, this one's actually kind of tricky. Through it all, I'm impressed with what Uncharted is shaping up to be. I love the action sequences, Mark Wahlberg's Sully, and also the cinematography is very cool. However, the biggest concern is Tom Holland and Nathan Drake, as I referenced earlier. Fans can easily feel disconnected from the film based on how the main character looks. Now, this doesn't pose nearly as much as a problem that the initial Sonic trailer did, because even if you didn't know who Sonic was or what he looked like, 9 times out of 9, you would have said this was disgusting. Tom Holland, on the other hand, is not disgusting. In fact, this dude is an actor held with such high regard, and he dated Zendaya. So, yeah. But anyway, even if you did not know who Nathan Drake was and you saw the Uncharted trailer, chances are you probably thought this looked like a pretty good movie. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean it will be a good video game movie, which was the main course of conversation. I know that Sonic characters aren't exactly one-to-one in their comparisons, but I personally think they come closer than Tom does to Nathan Drake. No disrespect to Tom, of course, as he is my personal favorite Spider-Man actor after I saw the end of No Way Home. But even besides that fact, I did notice that the Uncharted film will be taking bits and pieces from scenes from actual games themselves and assembling it into one film, which I think does help its case in becoming a really good video game movie, not being far removed from the source material, yet still finding a way to make it new and fresh is what both Uncharted and Sonic are doing. Although, at this current point in time, I give Sonic the edge in being a better video game movie for the sheer fact that not only are the comparisons clearer, but it seems to be balanced a bit better. The Sonic movie sequel won't be a retelling of any game. It won't even be a compilation of retells from different games. It may comprise some similar elements like Knuckles working with Eggman in Sonic 3, but there is too much going on here to make it even remotely similar to what we've seen before. That said though, only time will tell which will be the better product or the better video game movie. What's going on, guys? Thank you all so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this will be the best video game movie of all time? Or will that title belong to another film? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Right now, I'm saying it's a toss-up between the Sonic Movie 2 or Uncharted. I can go either way, but right now I'm leaning towards the Sonic movie sequel. I now want to move on and thank my amazing channel members. Thank you all so very much for coming to my aid and supporting me in making the best possible content I can create. You guys are truly the best. Every day I wake up praising the Lord for amazing people like you, and I honestly thank you again, as I really appreciate it. If you want to become a member of my channel, there will be a link in the description down below. But if you want to support me through other means, leaving a like, comment, and subscribing definitely goes a super duper long way. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. This is Sonic signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?